There are 5 places on Earth where people regularly live past 100. No medications, no crazy gym routines, just food. And when scientists studied what they were eating, they found something that completely contradicts modern diet culture. This isn't a fad diet. This is what the longest living humans on the planet have been doing for centuries, and most of us are doing the complete opposite. So today, we're breaking down the longevity diet, what it is, what these people actually eat, and the specific foods you can start eating this week. Before we get into the food, you need to understand where this comes from. Back in the early 2000s, a researcher named Dan Buettner partnered with National Geographic and a team of scientists to find the places with the highest concentration of centenarians. That's people who live to 100 or older. They called these places blue zones, and they found 5 of them across the planet: Sardinia in Italy, Okinawa in Japan, Nicoya in Costa Rica, Icaria in Greece, and Loma Linda in California. Now here's what's wild. These places are on completely different continents with completely different cultures. But when scientists looked at their diets, there were striking similarities. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. Number 1, 95% of their diet is plant-based, not 100% vegan, but close. Meat is eaten on average only 5 times per month, and in small portions, think of it more as a side dish or a flavoring, and not the main event. A 2016 study published in the journal JAMA Internal Medicine found that plant-based diets were associated with significantly lower rates of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and certain cancers, which are the exact diseases that kill most people before they reach old age. Now, the specific plants vary by region. In Sardinia and Icaria, it's lots of vegetables, legumes, and whole grains. In Okinawa, it's sweet potatoes, tofu, and seaweed. In Nicoya, it's black beans, corn, and squash. But the pattern is the same everywhere: whole, minimally processed plants. Every single day. If there is one food that shows up in every single blue zone, it's beans, legumes, lentils, black beans, chickpeas, fava beans. Dan Buettner's team called beans the cornerstone of every longevity diet on the planet. The average blue zone resident eats about 1 cup of beans per day. Why does this matter? Beans are loaded with fiber, protein, complex carbs, and antioxidants, all in one food. A study from the Asia-Pacific Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that for every 20 grams of legumes you eat daily, your risk of death drops by 7 to 8%. 7 to 8% for eating beans. That's insane. And yet most people are eating chicken and rice every day thinking that's the secret. The actual longest living people on Earth? Beans. Blue zone centenarians consume less than 28 grams of added sugar per day. That's about 7 teaspoons. For context, the average American consumes 77 grams of added sugar daily, nearly 3 times as much. And processed food? Almost non-existent in their diets, not because they're disciplined gym-goers counting macros, but because they simply never adopted ultra-processed food culture in the first place. Their snacks are nuts and fruit. Their drinks are water, herbal tea, or the occasional glass of wine. Their meals are cooked at home from ingredients they can recognize. A 2019 study in the British Medical Journal found that a 10% increase in ultra-processed food consumption was associated with a 14% higher risk of early death. These people aren't eating that way, and they're living to 100 because of it. Here's one of my favorite parts of this whole thing. In Okinawa, the island with some of the highest life expectancies in the world, there's a 2,500-year-old Confucian mantra that people say before every meal. It's called Hara Hachi Bu, and it roughly translates to, "Eat until you are 80% full. Not stuffed, not uncomfortable, just almost full. And then stop." This is essentially a practice of caloric restriction that's been built into their culture for centuries. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that caloric restriction, eating slightly less than you feel like eating, is one of the most consistent ways to extend lifespan across almost every organism studied. These people didn't need a scientist to tell them that. They've been doing it for thousands of years. They just put a name on it. The Mediterranean blue zones, Sardinia and Icaria specifically, consume olive oil daily. And not a little drizzle. We're talking 6 tablespoons a day on average. A landmark study, the pre-dimed trial, followed over 7,000 people and found that those on a Mediterranean diet supplemented with extra virgin olive oil had a 30% lower risk of major cardiovascular events compared to a low-fat diet. They also eat a small handful of nuts every day: walnuts, almonds, peanuts. A 30-year Harvard study found that people who ate nuts daily were 20% less likely to die from any cause during the study period compared to those who didn't eat nuts. These aren't superfoods sold in a capsule. These are real, whole foods that have been part of human diets for thousands of years. So let's make this actionable. You don't need to move to Sardinia. Here's the longevity diet distilled into what you can actually do starting this week. 1. Make plants the majority of every plate. Aim for at least half your plate being vegetables, legumes, or whole grains. 2. Eat beans every single day. Throw them in soups, rice, salads, anywhere. 1 cup a day. 3. Ditch added sugar and ultra-processed snacks. Replace them with nuts and fruit. 4. Try hara hachibu. Eat slower. Stop at 80%. Give your stomach time to catch up to your brain. 5. Add olive oil. Use it as your primary cooking fat. Don't be afraid of it, and that's it. No supplements, no meal plan to buy, just food. The world's oldest people didn't have access to protein powders or macro tracking apps. They had gardens, simple meals, and a relationship with food that was built on consistency, not perfection. If you found this useful, drop a comment below. Tell me which of these 5 facts surprised you the most. I read every single one. And if you want more content like this, real, evidence-based health and nutrition and fitness stuff, subscribe. I post every week, and I promise I won't waste your time. See you in the next one.